Welcome to the Fox 54 Weekend Review. I'm Kenesha Dees. It's the only place in North Alabama to get the week's local headlines condensed into one program. This week's top stories: new nuclear reactors could be coming to Bellefonte in Jackson County. Communities continue to debate data centers, and a Fort Payne bar loses its license after a disturbing discovery. After sitting unfinished business for nearly 4 decades, the Bellefonte nuclear site in Jackson County could once again play a role in the Tennessee Valley's energy future. The Tennessee Valley Authority says it's in fast-paced talks to potentially bring small modular reactors to the abandoned site. The Bellefonte site is in Hollywood, about 45 miles east of Huntsville. Fox 54's Valentina Chalala spoke with Jackson County residents about the possibility of the long-dormant plant finally having a future.
While TVA says no final decision has been made, this is the strongest sign yet that Bellefonte could have a future after nearly 4 decades of uncertainty. Construction on the Bellefonte nuclear plant began in the 1970s, but TVA halted work in 1988 before the reactors were ever completed. In a statement to Fox 54, TVA says it's working with industry partners to evaluate Bellefonte for future nuclear development, calling it part of its commitment to providing safe, reliable, and resilient nuclear technology. But for many who live near the site, they say they've heard promises about Bellefonte's future before.
There was a campaign to get it started again, and that kind of didn't go anywhere. So here we are again.
We've heard 2 or 3 times that Japan bought it out and they were going to crank it back up, and then that didn't play through.
Some residents say they believe Bellefonte deserves another chance.
Nuclear power, I think that'll be really good.
Nuclear is good, beneficial, it's a good source of power, and we should invest in it.
Supporters say they like the idea of cleaner energy and hope it could also help reduce power outages in the area.
Scottsboro has more power outages frequently, so it would help a whole lot with it.
Others remain skeptical, saying while nuclear power may reduce air pollution, they worry about its potential impact on the Tennessee River and other nearby waterways.
When they go to starting up and polluting the riverways, the mercury goes up in the water, you can't eat the fish, and the warm water affects the fishing.
For now, Bellefonte's future is still undecided, but some local residents say the project could have a lasting economic impact on the surrounding area. In Jackson County, I'm Valentina Chalala, Fox 54 News.
While Bellefonte may be back in the conversation, TVA says there's still no timeline for a final decision. The utility says it will continue evaluating its options as it plans for the valley's future energy needs. Good evening. Welcome to Fox 54 News at 9. I'm Kenesha Dees. Community organizations are teaming up to show us the data about AI data centers, which have gathered widespread attention in recent months over where to put them, how to regulate them, and what they cost the community. The forum comes as cities across the country place moratoriums against data center projects, including here in the Tennessee Valley. Fort Payne implemented a 6-month moratorium on data centers to give leaders time to form guidelines for how the centers can operate with limited disruptions to the surrounding community. Coleman City Council members also approved a temporary moratorium on data center related applications while officials review the potential impacts of the facilities on the community. While the Somerville Town Council unanimously approved an 18-month moratorium following weeks of petitions and community pushback.
Imagine a building the size of a Walmart or even larger coming in right across the street from your house with 24/7 floodlights and the humming of machinery. That's the reality for many people living next to data centers or large buildings housing computer processes for the internet. But recently, they've created a litany of concerns across the country, sparking one discussion at the Huntsville Public Library to spread awareness about what they do.
And event organizers say data centers will eventually need some kind of oversight at the regional level, citing disruptions to local wildlife, a strain on the electrical grid, and millions of gallons of used water being dumped back into North Alabama's rivers.
We do want to know what kind of enforcement, what kind of restrictions, what kind of oversight, what kind of transparency are they going to give us, the public, the voting public.
Anderson says the area's growth and attraction to investors is beneficial, but it does need to be tempered with what residents already here want next door.
North Huntsville needs to be able to grow, but let it grow in a way that people have a quality of life.
And many residents here in North Alabama agree, saying they want to know about a data center before developers begin clearing land.
I'm not, necessarily 100%. We don't need new data centers. As the internet is expanding, becoming more important, there are certainly more capacity needs, but that can't come at the cost of these other major concerns.
But with increasing regulation over data centers at the local level, many attendees here say they want something done in the state legislature too. In Huntsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
With several instances of discussion surrounding data centers springing up locally, event organizers say it's more important than ever to inform the public of what they are and do. The city of Fort Payne revoking the business license for a local bar after allegations that at least one camera was hidden inside the men's restroom. The scrutiny following a July complaint to the Fort Payne Police Department and an uproar on social media. During the investigation, Fort Payne police say they found evidence confirming that a camera had, in fact, been placed in the restroom. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo attended today's revocation hearing to bring us the latest in the case.
The Rusty Barrel Saloon and Grub in Fort Payne is shutting down after its owners conceded their business license to the Fort Payne City Council. The City Council hearing saw dozens of angry residents and a unanimous vote to shutter the bar. However, its owners waived their right to the hearing, choosing instead not to show up. City officials saying the camera police found in the bar's bathroom violated city ordinances and provided grounds for the business license to be revoked.
Our utmost importance is to protect the citizens, and also not only in protection but also in privacy, and that was breached in my opinion.
The community is better than that. We don't want anybody in here that's going to violate the trust of the people that we work for.
Investigators claim the camera may have been in place as far back as March to October of 2025, up to a year and a half of exposure inside the bathroom. It's still not clear who placed the camera there or whether staff knew about it. However, local residents who attended the hearing say it speaks poorly for bar management.
I thought it's kind of sad that they didn't show up. I wish they had spoken their word and maybe gotten more truth out for the public eye, but if they had something to say, they would have come and said it, but they didn't. Cameras in bathrooms are really scary in general, and to think that it's happening in my own hometown, the small hometown.
And I think that if that is the case, then they should not be publicly serving people and should not have that business license. But if it does come out that that is in fact not true, then I do believe that that should be restored.
According to city officials, the revocation takes effect immediately, and the bar will be shutting down as the city enforces that order. In Fort Payne, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
Next for the business, a judge will review the decision. They'll look at the evidence and decide whether or not the business license should be reinstated. Fort Payne police are asking anyone who may have been a victim during the time frame to contact their investigations division at 256-845-1414. Also in the news, Cherokee County looks at state funding for a water plant upgrade. A new partnership aims to upgrade power for Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, and a new facility supporting drones and space systems breaks ground in the Rocket City. Community leaders and residents met in Cherokee tonight to discuss future plans for water treatment. The city has funds available from the Alabama Department of Environmental Management to move forward with the project, but only if they make millions of dollars worth of improvements to their existing facility. The city has nearly $2.5 million in grant money from ADEM, which includes a nearly $1.5 million loan and an additional $1 million in principal forgiveness. But the city hasn't officially accepted these funds yet. Fox 54's Gabe Glassman has more on the city's decision.
What is the future of water treatment in Cherokee? It is what community leaders and residents are discussing in a town hall meeting Monday night. A handful of people hearing more about a looming decision. Cherokee has nearly $2.5 million in grant/loan money available, but it's not as simple as just taking the money. Cherokee is currently weighing their options, including keeping their own facility open.
It's going to be financially tough for a town the size of Cherokee. I would love to keep our plant open. In a town our size, if we mothball our plant, odds are we'll never get it back.
Kelly Taft with the Kelly Group, Cherokee's engineer, says another option is to buy the town's water from Colbert County.
If Town of Cherokee engages with Colbert County, the water treatment plant belonging to Cherokee would be closed. Cherokee currently has an interconnection with Colbert County water system where they can purchase all of their water or a portion of their water as they need it. There would be a new agreement drafted to engage with Colbert County to purchase all of their water from the county.
If Cherokee doesn't start buying water at a wholesale rate from Colbert County, the town would have to upgrade their facilities, which can come with ongoing costs. Karen Kent, owner of Caribou's West Colbert Art Studio, says she doesn't want to be drinking any contaminated water, but is worried about the impact to her water bill.
On the flip side, do not want my water bill to double or triple either. I don't believe there's a lot of people that are actually drinking the water out of their sink anyhow, but I think we should be able to because we pay the money for the water, so we should be able to. It needs to be clean, but at the same time, it don't need to be so expensive we can't afford it.
A decision must be made sooner rather than later. Taft says officials have roughly 2 months to decide which path to choose. In Cherokee, Gabe Glassman, FOX54 News.
Mayor Rutland says the town has until 2031 to meet federal regulations. A special called town council meeting is expected to be scheduled to make an official decision in the coming weeks. The U.S. Army and the Tennessee Valley Authority are taking their partnership to the next level, aiming to keep local military facilities fully powered. Today, leaders signed a new agreement to harden energy grids at Redstone Arsenal and the Tennessee Valley against blackouts, cyber attacks, and severe weather. Fox 54's Logan Alexandra Russell attended the signing this morning and breaks down what this partnership means for Redstone Arsenal and for your neighborhood.
It's a new direction for energy security at Redstone Arsenal and the Tennessee Valley. The U.S. Army and TVA officially partnering to explore ways to make sure local military installations never go dark.
We no longer live in a world where we can definitely count on the commercial grid. We know that there are threats to the grid. So having resilient power sources on post inside the fence line is critical.
To prepare for those threats, the Army routinely tests its systems using ethical hackers and black start exercises, simulating what happens if the base loses grid power.
And just talk tactics, professionals talk logistics, and there's no more important form of logistics than energy. Everything that we need to do in the future of warfare involves energy, particularly electricity.
To meet that demand, the Army says it's taking an all-of-the-above approach to power generation. Instead of focusing solely on carbon emissions, they are exploring on-base sources like natural gas, nuclear, or solar power. Leaders from both parties say the ultimate goal is to harden the infrastructure against cyber attacks and severe weather.
We really believe that energy security is national security, and so looking forward to the collaboration help us.
And this agreement doesn't just benefit the installation. Army leaders emphasize that Redstone is not an island. Because thousands of soldiers and their families live outside the arsenal's gates, they want to generate enough backup power to push out to the surrounding neighborhoods during an emergency, ensuring that no matter what happens to the regional grid, the military's mission stays fully powered. In Huntsville, Logan Alexandra Russell, Fox 54 News.
Army leaders noted that today's signing also cancels a prior energy deal for off-site solar that would have cost the Army $40 million over the next 20 years. Redwire is expanding its Huntsville footprint with a new campus expected to bring more high-skilled jobs to the Tennessee Valley. The aerospace and defense company broke ground today on its new 164,000 square foot facility. Once complete, the campus will manufacture uncrewed aircraft systems, surveillance technology, advanced batteries, and space exploration hardware. Redwire says the expansion will create about 150 high-skilled jobs in engineering, manufacturing, program management, and operations. Company leaders say Huntsville's skilled workforce and strong defense industry made it the ideal location for the investment.
Huntsville's amazing. Huntsville has such a great pool of talent in technology, space, missile defense, aviation. It's really a good melting pot of talent that we're able to utilize, and take advantage of having a pool of people that are centrally located in all those disciplines.
Yeah, construction on the new facility already underway and is expected to be completed next year. Redstone Arsenal is more than just a military base. This week, Mexican investigators worked with the ATF to learn new techniques for investigating car bombings. You hear the explosions almost every day in the Rocket City, like you just heard there. Explosions coming from Redstone Arsenal, but not all the explosions are tests. Investigating a car bomb can be difficult after it explodes. Shrapnel and wreckage everywhere, fires burning up the car's interior, and DNA spread dozens of feet around the blast. But the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or the ATF, is teaching foreign law enforcement how to exactly do that. It's part of a demonstration showing how car bombs affect the gathering of evidence and how law enforcement can work around it. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo got an exclusive look at the impact of the ATF's post-blast investigation training and the shockwaves it's sending across the world.
Fire in the hole!
You may have expected a big fiery explosion like you see in the movies, but that's not always the case. Brian Taylor with the ATF says a lot of the evidence of a bomb is often left behind.
You can find the components that are left behind after a blast has occurred. You can also see the different signatures that the explosives are making at that point in time.
That's why the ATF is teaching law enforcement from around the world how to investigate car bombs as part of its international explosives training. Taylor says this time the Mexican National Guard will bring what they learned back across the border to investigate cartel violence from high explosive devices.
They're also seeing a lot of grenades that are being utilized, and they're seeing a lot of improvised grenades that are being manufactured through 3D printing. So we're seeing those kind of devices that are being utilized throughout the country. So we're able to present those signatures for them during this training, and they'll take that back for their knowledge base.
To replicate what Mexican investigators often see in the field, the ATF detonated satchel charges and grenades to show how the resulting damage can identify how a bomb was made.
Yo a través de esos fragmentos o residuos de evidencia.
Through those fragments or traces of evidence, I can reconstruct for the judge how it happened, and, in particular for this type of case, which specific IED was used and caused harm to society or some particular victim.
Sociedad o alguna víctima en especial.
And it's important work, with some of those investigators telling Fox 54 that this course teaches them how to handle instances of cartel violence across their country.
Realmente es algo muy similar a lo que.
Really, it's something very similar to what we see in some provinces or states in Mexico, and that's why it's very important to learn and understand how research is conducted.
Cómo se investiga.
ATF officials say the goal of trainings like this is to help foreign law enforcement agencies find evidence from scattered remnants, reconstruct the bomb to learn more, and use their findings in court. In Huntsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
The ATF hosts around 12 of these trainings every year, focusing on law enforcement from multiple different countries and the various explosives they're seeing back home. And let's take a trip around the valley. A community rallies around a teen detained by ICE shortly after his high school graduation. Alabama legislators amp up efforts for Postmaster pay reforms, and the kids are back in the classroom. A 19-year-old who just recently graduated high school, now in ICE custody. It's where we start. I'm Kenesha Dees. A Russellville community is rallying as his family prepares for the legal process ahead. Friends, teachers, and members of his church doing what they can to help. Fox 54's Valentina Chalala has this story.
While Juan Alberto Kim's immigration case moves through the legal process, those who know him say they're focused on who they know him to be: a hard worker, a volunteer, and a recent high school graduate. Kim graduated from Russellville High School just a few months ago. On his way to work in Littleville on July 29th, he was stopped by law enforcement for following another vehicle too close. That's when officers discovered he did not have a driver's license and was not in the United States legally. His pastor, Jose Manuel Sanchez, says Kim called him after he was detained, and he immediately drove to Littleville to help. I spoke with the officials. I explained that he's a good kid, he has no criminal record, he's a man who loves God. But at that point, law enforcement could not do anything, and they told me he automatically was going into the custody of ICE. Sanchez's wife, Yolanda, says they asked if they could take Juan's car, but were told it had already been taken into the county's custody. Days later, members of his church, Iglesia Betania, gathered to pray for Kim and his family while raising money to help with legal expenses. If he gets deported back to his country, he will be alone. His parents and siblings are all in the city of Russellville. One of Juan's former teachers, Jill Bonds, says she's heartbroken watching his family go through this.
He's still somebody's baby. And to be removed from that situation, removed from his friends, my heart was definitely pulled for him. That situation has kind of happened a few times because of the high Hispanic population in Russellville.
Yolanda says during phone calls, Kim sounds scared. She says officials have encouraged him to sign paperwork agreeing to deportation, but his family has advised him not to as they continue to pursue legal options. Juan's worship leader, Cristian Sanchez, says he believes Kim's detention sends the wrong message.
He's been here for 10, 11 years with no criminal record. So I feel like ICE
needs to target people who are, a threat to our community, and not people like him, because he adds to our community.
According to Sanchez, scheme is currently being held in an ICE detention facility in Birmingham, where he's expected to be transferred to Louisiana as his immigration case continues. In Russellville, I'm Valentina Chalala, Fox 54 News.
A GoFundMe created by a family friend has now raised more than $8,000 to help cover Juan's legal expenses and other costs as his family navigates the immigration process. You can find a link to the fundraiser on fox54.com. Alabama's U.S. senators are backing legislation aimed at limiting bonus pay for the nation's Postmaster General. Senators Katie Britt and Tommy Tuberville have introduced the Reform Act, matching a bill filed in the House by Congressman Dale Strong. The legislation would block performance bonuses for the Postmaster General if the Postal Service fails to meet key financial or service benchmarks, including missing delivery targets or receiving poor financial audit results. The bills come as several post offices in North Alabama face problems with package backups, including unsorted, unsecured, and exposed mail. We previously spoke with Congressman Strong, who told Fox 54 why the Postal Service is having so many problems.
You look at it, it's a multifaceted problem, and it started not just in the last year or two. I believe we've tracked it back. It started whenever they moved the processing center from North Alabama to Birmingham. Totally unacceptable. The problem started there, and they progressed every year. But again, we've got some great people delivering the mail. What we don't have is enough people to deliver the mail.
In an updated statement today, Strong applauded Tuberville and Britt's decision, saying, quote, Alabamians deserve a postal service that delivers their mail on time and a Postmaster General who is accountable for results. With Alabama's entire congressional delegation united behind this effort, we're sending a clear message. It's time for the U.S. Postal Service to deliver, end quote. School districts across North Alabama have spent the summer preparing for the upcoming school year, making key upgrades to accommodate rising growth and welcome students back to the classroom. One of the districts facing the largest growth is Madison County Schools, which is looking to prepare for the rise in enrollment. Fox 54's Logan Alexander Russell shows us what's new in Madison County ahead of the first day of school.
It has been a non-stop summer for the Madison County school systems, with crews working around the clock to provide a fresh new look for schools before the beginning of the school year starts. And the school system celebrated a major milestone.
It's been a very busy summer. We've done a lot of capital projects. We have our first school in 12 years opening up, Sparkman Intermediate School. That's out in the Tony, Harvest, Madison Crossroads communities.
District leaders say strategic planning is vital as the area continues to grow.
We're halfway through the build of the new middle school out at Hazel Green. We've put a new wing on at Hazel Green High School. We've done some upgrades down at New Hope Elementary School, at Owens Crossroads Elementary School, gave them some facelifts, some new flooring.
As first day routines set in, Superintendent Kubik has some advice for parents dealing with the first week. He says to be patient.
They say patience is a virtue. It truly is. We know there's going to be, hiccups as we go along. There always is. Kids are going to get on the wrong bus. Buses are going to break down. Things are going to happen. Be patient. We will get them worked out. We will get every child home safely.
Finally, Kubik says if any issues do emerge, remain calm and reach out directly to your child's school. He reminds parents that staff can't fix a problem they don't know about, and professionals are on hand and ready to help resolve any concerns. In Madison County, Logan Alexandra Russell, Fox 54 News.
As a reminder for picking up and dropping off during the first day of school, give yourself plenty of time. Slow down, be alert, be patient, and of course, put the phone down. Fox 54 has all you need to know to prepare for the new school year on the Fox 54 app. Stream our back to school special and all things back to school on demand. Download on your TV, watch for free. Madison City Schools is starting the school year with a new superintendent, a brand new school, and a continued focus on campus safety. As they continue to grow, the district says their priority is keeping pace with enrollment while making sure every student has a safe place to learn. The new Russell Branch Elementary is off Madison Branch Boulevard in Limestone County and will welcome its first students Thursday. Fox 54's Valentina Chalala spoke with Superintendent Eric Terrell about the district's continued plans for growth and safety.
As students get ready to pick up their pencils, crews are putting the finishing touches on Russell Branch Elementary. Just one example of what new Superintendent Eric Terrell says is his goal to elevate Madison City Schools.
The theme this year that I set forth for the district is Elevate Excellence.
The classrooms, hallways, and learning spaces are largely complete. Contractors are now finishing landscaping and repaving of some areas that weren't finished because of recent rain. But Terrell says the school will be ready to open on the first day of class as the district continues to plan for future growth.
We have to keep in mind if we need to add on to a school or if we need to add another school. So we'll continue to watch those numbers and make sure, that doesn't slip up on us in regards to growth.
But as the district grows, so does its workforce. That's why Terrell says the district is looking at every part of its operations, including how it trains and brings on new employees. That comes after 4 Madison City Schools employees were arrested on crimes against children within a 6-month period last school year. Terrell says the district has since expanded training with the National Children's Advocacy Center, is taking a closer look at reference checks, and is adding staff to help strengthen employee onboarding.
We've been growing since the school district started, and a lot of things that you do as a small district, you can't do as a larger district. So we are adding staff to our personnel department to help in that area.
As part of those safety efforts, Terrell says the district is also investing in some of its older campuses, including Rainbow Elementary and Bob Jones High School. Those upgrades include building improvements, rekeying locks, and upgrading security systems.
We're upgrading all of our camera systems that need to be upgraded. So that's a great thing, and putting them in the right places, because you do have hidden spots within buildings.
Terrell also says the district safety and security committee will continue meeting year-round to evaluate safety measures and identify ways to improve them. In Madison, I'm Valentina Chalala, Fox 54 News.
A lot happening with Madison City Schools. Russell Branch Elementary will welcome families during its open house tomorrow ahead of the first day of school. Many kids are returning to school this week, starting as early as today for Huntsville City Schools. But that also means you'll see an increase in commuter traffic, school zone slowdowns, and a larger police presence. Just last year, that higher enforcement led to 249 stops and 234 citations in Huntsville, thanks to the Zero in the Zone initiative. However, HPD tells Fox 54 the goal this year isn't to meet a quota, but to make a change in people's driving habits. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo shows us what local law enforcement is doing to keep school zones safe.
From the first day of class through the last day of August, Huntsville police are ramping up traffic safety enforcement with the annual Zero in the Zone campaign. That means on your way to and from work, you'll see more officers on the road, especially in your school zones.
We have zero tolerance in school zones, so if you're speeding or breaking the law, we do stop you and write tickets.
They're already watching school zones for a variety of traffic violations like speeding, distracted driving, and ignoring safety patrol aids at intersections and crosswalks. Those safety patrol aids have been prepping for the back-to-school rush for weeks, telling you to pay attention so you can help keep children safe.
Listen for the whistle. Pay attention, keep your eyes open, don't look down at your phone. That can wait.
They're working with Huntsville City Schools to watch the roads for the city's 20,000 students across over 40 different schools or programs.
It helps us, especially for the younger kids, make sure that we're helping promote a safe and secure environment, helping them watch out for vehicles, and ultimately helping make sure that vehicles are doing what they need to be doing in terms of helping monitor the speed limit and alerting HPD if there are any issues or any areas of concern.
And the Huntsville Police Department is telling you to watch out, saying this initiative is one of their highest priorities of the year.
I would like to say that that's most of the people in this community. Anybody that's a parent, your safety of your children is the highest priority on your list. And anytime you think it's in jeopardy, it's very serious things. That's something the Huntsville Police Department understands very much so. It's something that we treat very high above pretty much every other priority. You're talking about the future of not only the city of Huntsville, you're talking about the future of the world. And taking someone's life away, a child's life, you're taking away and impacting way more than what you think. You're impacting an entire community, not just a family.
According to local officials, it takes a team to get drivers to slow down, but you can do your part by following the rules of the road. In Huntsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
Some of the biggest tips for drivers include leaving early to avoid the rush, slowing down, putting the phone away, and leaving a large distance between you and the car in front of you. Let's wrap up with the family looking for hope in the face of tragedy as they call for an end to gun violence.
A North Alabama family said its final goodbyes today to a young father killed in a deadly shooting in Huntsville just 2 weeks ago. As loved ones celebrated Devontae Vance's life, they also made a plea to help end the cycle of gun violence. Vance was one of 2 men killed in a July 19th shooting on Blake Bottom Road. Those who knew him say they want him to be remembered for the life he lived. A loving father, a caring friend, and a man known for greeting people with a hug. While many gathered to celebrate his life, they also hoped his story would spark a conversation about ending gun violence.
Gun violence has increased amongst the young people, and it's a variety of reasons. One is, I think one of the biggest reasons is because people just don't have that foundation.
Funeral attendants at Serenity Funeral Home say they have stood beside too many families grieving loved ones lost to gun violence, and they believe prevention starts long before a funeral.
As a professional in the funeral service, we do see how much pain gun violence does cause with our children, and not just our children, but families in general. So I think what we are just begging for, what we're asking for, is for everyone to just choose life and put the guns down.
It's always been around, but it's more prevalent now.
The call for change comes as gun violence continues to take a toll nationwide. According to Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions, more than 44,000 people died from gun violence in the U.S. in 2024. The organization also reports Alabama had the nation's 3rd highest gun death rate in 2023.
It takes everybody. It's not just one set of people. Some people think it should start in the classroom, but it really starts at home. Once you start at home, spread it to the classroom, spread it to the church. Together we can do more.
As family continues to mourn Devonte Vance, they say they hope his life will be remembered not only for the love he shared, but for the conversations they believe it can inspire about ending gun violence.
Thank you for watching Fox 54's Week in Review. Watch the Fox 54 app for more great programming with in-depth local specials, Locked On Sports, true crime, cooking shows, wellness experts, and continuing weather coverage. For everyone at Fox 54 News, I'm Kenesha Dees. Have a great weekend.